Hey guys. Okay, so these are going to be instructions on how you're going to do this procedure. So first off, you should have already completed all of these things. If you've not filled in all 5 of those things, stop now and go fill that stuff in. So you should have your experimental question, your hypothesis. Remember that needs to be an if-then statement. Okay, sorry, I don't have my stylus, so my handwriting is like really terrible right now. Now I'm just gonna tell you guys this, okay? Your IV is gonna have to be mass. So if you didn't have mass for your IV, go back and put that in, okay? It's because we want to see how mass affects gravity, okay? And your dV is going to be the gravitational force. Constants, there's a lot of constants. You guys can put that stuff in, but let's make sure we have that. And that makes sense because IV always goes on the left, okay? That's IV, and then dV always goes over here. Now, while we're at it, before we go into how you're going to do this, I do want to go ahead and show you guys when you go to make your graph, okay? Remember that your IV needs to go down here across the bottom of your graph. So that's going to have to be, when you label this, all right, you need to label mass, and that's going to have to be in grams. Remember that your dV always goes on the side. Okay, so I'm going to label this as, we're going to call that force of gravity. Okay, I'm just going to label F of G, and that's going to be in newtons. Please write out force of gravity. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this quick and my handwriting sucks, but write out force of gravity. You have to scale that thing appropriately and then get your dots on there. But first, we need to fill in this table. You need 7 different data points, and there's a whole bunch of weights up front for you to get 7 different masses. I'm going to show you a quick demonstration. Let's see if this works now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go to that, and we'll go to camera. All right. Now, guys, here's what. Let's make sure that you can see me. Okay, good. Let's see if we can tilt that forward a little bit here. All right. So here's what you're going to do. You have a whole bunch of different scales. All right. There are a whole bunch of them up there in the room. You can get whichever ones you want. Now, I want you to notice that I've gone ahead and I've adjusted these things. So if you look closely, you can see that I adjusted it so it's right at 0. Okay, so if you need to adjust it up and down, make sure that all of your scales are set so that they're right at 0. Now I've got 3 of them here. Sorry, I'll try and talk to you guys there. You've also got a plastic grocery bag. That's going to hold your weight. Now you guys have a whole bunch of those really nice little metal mass weights. And you don't even need to worry about what the measurements are because you're going to measure the mass once it's all in here. So don't worry about adding it all up and putting that in your table. You're going to measure that off of this thing. I don't have those here at home. This is my living room, by the way. Lovely living room. So I'm going to measure 2 bananas. So bag, bananas go in the bag. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can get back here in the shot a little bit. Now, so I've got my bananas in the bag, and I've got my 3 scales. Now I need to figure out which one's appropriate to measure the mass with. So notice that my blue scale, okay, if I hook this on and then I measure, now see how it bottoms out so that the spring is all the way coiled down. That means that the blue scale is not big enough for the bananas. Now at the same time, the yellow scale, okay, the yellow scale is too big for the bananas because the bananas right now is showing me, I don't know, 4 newtons maybe, but it's so hard to tell the difference between 3 and 4 and 5 on here. This is too small, so I'm going to go somewhere in between. I think this one's pretty appropriate. So now I'm looking at this. Now remember, this thing takes 2 readings. It's got newtons on one side, and it's got mass on the other, grams and kilograms. Make sure that you take both. So the first thing that I need in my table is mass. So I'm going to look at my grams, okay, and this is showing me about 410 grams. So I'm going to put down 410 grams. Okay, you guys can't see that, but it says about 410 grams. I put that down. Okay, now it's still hanging on here, and now I'm going to look at the other side at newtons, and it's showing me about 4.1 newtons. Okay, so about 410 grams, 4.1 newtons. So I put both of those numbers into my data table, and then I'm going to put different weights in the bag and go on to the next one. So that's sort of the process. You're going to do this 7 different times, and you might have to use different scales for different masses that you use, okay? So 7 different masses, 7 different sets of readings. You need a mass, and you need force in newtons for each one of those. All right, let's go back here and let's talk real quick. Sorry, guys. Look, that's trippy, huh? Ooh. Okay, so you need to be filling all of this in. Fill all of this in. Once you do that, put your dots on. Now, you need to draw a line of best fit. A line of best fit on this thing, okay? I'm going to tell you that it needs to be a straight line. So draw yourself a nice straight line on the line of best fit. Once you get all that done, then you're going to go ahead and go on to the analysis and conclusions. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask the sub. All right, guys, thanks.